In this section, I'm going to start on a new Angular project. So let's generate a new project using Angular CLI, ng new, and call this Firebase-demo. All right, our project is ready. Now let's go to Firebase demo. Here we need to install a couple of node packages. So npm install. The first one is Firebase, which is the standard Firebase library written in JavaScript. And the second one is Angular Fire 2, which is a library for working with Firebase in an Angular 2 Plus app. Okay, now add the save flag. Okay, all the packages installed successfully. Now let's open this project in VS Code. Now here under the source folder, we have environments. And here we have two files for storing our configuration settings for the production and development environment. So open up environment.ts. So you can see here we are exporting an object called environment. And this object has a simple property called production that is set to false. Here we need to copy some settings about our Firebase project. So back on Firebase console, if you go to the overview page for your project, back here, click this button, add Firebase to your web app. Now here on this config object, you can see a bunch of properties, such as API key, auth domain, database URL, and so on. We're going to copy all these properties, only the properties, nothing else here. Okay, so copy these. Now back here, add a comma. Here we add a new key, Firebase, set it to an object, and then paste all those properties that we copied, like this. So this is our Firebase database for the development environment. In a real-world scenario, you should have a separate Firebase backend for your production environment. So then you go to Firebase, create another project. That project has its own settings. Then you would copy all these settings in environment.prod.ts. So it's a very similar file, but the production property here is set to true. Okay? Now don't worry about these various environments. We're going to look at them later when it comes to deployment. So let's continue adding Firebase to this project. Next, we need to go to app.module. Here in the imports array, we need to import one or more modules of Angular Fire. But for some reason that I don't know, my auto import plugin doesn't work here. So we need to explicitly import these modules on the top. Import Angular Fire module from Angular Fire 2. Then in the imports array, we add Angular Fire module dot initialize app. Now here we need to pass the configuration object for our Firebase database. So we need to import the environment object that was exported in the other module. So environment, auto import. Let's look on the top. So this is our environment object imported from the environments folder / environment module. And here we have all the settings for our development environment. Now back here in the imports array, this environment object has a property that we just added called Firebase. And this is an object that includes all the settings for Firebase, okay? Now this Angular Fire module is the main module in Angular Fire. There are additional modules such as Angular Fire Database, Angular Fire Authentication, and so on. So here, because we're going to work with the database, we should also import the Angular Fire Database module. So once again, on the top, we need to import another module. This one is called Angular Fire Database module. And we're going to import this from Angular Fire 2 / database. Okay? Then we add this to the imports array after initializing the app. So Angular Fire Database module. Now we have successfully installed Firebase and Angular Fire in our project. Next, I'm going to show you how to get the data from our Firebase database.